Hey, man, it's Thursday night, ATL Flag Football Podcast. And we are in the building, man. It's your boy Low, man. Sitting next to me, Mr. Five Star in Sports himself, James Reese. What up, James?
What up? Glad to be here again. Post-national.
James is post-nationals, James. That means this is the biggest free agency market every single year in flag football, man. This is when the free agent market opens up like never before. It never fails. Everybody builds up all year long, all season long to go down to that one big tournament down in Florida called the National Championship Tournament, man. And your teams get ready for it. Everybody's geared up. Everybody working together. Everybody has a mission. Everybody goes in there with the aspect of winning a national title. And then when it's over, folks break up. Hey, all that building, all that growing, all that loving on each other, then something goes wrong down there in Florida, and all of a sudden, man, folks don't seem to like each other no more.
Why is that, Andrew?
Why is that?
Why?
I can't answer that question, James. I really can't. I've been amazed every year that I see it happen.
Are people?
But
Can they? I mean, I can't even think of the right question to ask because it's just like, are you that much of a sore loser?
I think it's sore loser.
Or were you just not fundamentally sound to begin with, and you were masking local wins that thought that they were going to translate to some magical world that they never really existed in the first place?
I think all that can be true. I think there's some levels of delusion in there.
Delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, I think all that comes into play.
Delusions of being better than what you were.
Well, you know,
delusions of players being better than what you thought they were.
Yeah.
Delusions of chemistry that isn't there.
Chemistry that's not there.
It's just a lot.
Lack of accountability.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into those whys, man. But it happens. And it happens every single year.
And let me just put this out there. We ain't talking about no specific team because it's happened to so many teams consistently over the years. There's no specific team we're taking a shot at. It's just something we noticed that a trend that happens year after year after year.
Year after year.
Not just in Atlanta, but all over. You know.
Yeah. I mean, all that's true. You know, I think, and a lot of it. See, me personally, I've always said for years that the mistake we make a lot of times is that we Atlanta people, the only focus everybody has is nationals. That's their only focus. You know what I mean? In terms of tournament play, and they take for granted the other tournaments. You know,
not traveling to the other tournaments, and you know,
and not traveling as your team as well.
You know, I had a conversation with a couple of people about that, and I was like, I kind of suggested that, you know, if you're going to merge with another team, maybe merge under a different name, because eventually when that doesn't work and you split up and you're stuck in an area you can't compete in because you don't have what you had that got you there. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I mean, once you get to D1, it doesn't matter because there ain't nowhere else to go. But if you merging at D2 and D3 and then you win and then you move up and then those people go back and you don't have them anymore, you really can't compete at that level again.
And you don't necessarily merge. You have your team, but you add people, and then the people that been with you kind of get pushed to the back, and then that can disturb chemistry. And then if something don't go right, but they wouldn't put, then got all then the finger pointing starts happening, and it's all kinds of things to disrupt, man. So,
because I mean, take for instance, there was a team that won this year at D3 with 10 players from a former Division I team.
Right.
If they don't keep those 10 players, they're not the same team.
Facts.
Yeah,
Facts. Get your microphone, man.
We can't hear you. You got a mic?
Go.
So let me say this. As of
the question was, is there a particular number of players that can go down from a team that was now, because the Phantoms did play D1 last year, right? I know that. I'm just asking, did they play D1? Yes, they played D1 last year, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Because they had won D2 prior to, and then going up D.
They would play D1 a couple years.
Was it a couple seasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
So to answer your question, for the men, no. For the women, there's a competition committee. But I think after what some would feel was the egregiousness of what took place, there are steps being put in place to possibly mitigate that again. Because again, if there's nothing that say you couldn't do it, that means you can do it. And at that point, it's only maybe morally wrong or frowned upon, but there's nothing that say you can't do it. And so what the Alphas did was not against the UFFL rules. It was just probably against the
morality clause.
Exactly, And then, of course, it didn't help that when they took their team picture, the 10 players from the Phantoms decided to take a separate picture and post it
to show who they were
in the Phantoms uniform. That's kind of like rubbing salt in the wound.
But again, like I said before, you said that on live, the Phantom guys were wearing their uniform, which is what. And here's what I'm wondering: the fact that they wore the uniform, did that spark the outrage? Because how many people really knew all those players outside of people that play against them on a regular basis? Because you have identified those Phantom players, not you, James, but do you think the other teams would have been able to identify those players?
Of me, the directors, and a couple of people that probably were from Chicago.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think many Atlanta
would have identified them.
Would have been able
the Phantom jerseys kind of made it obvious.
Some of them possibly could have, but not
the ones that might have played them regularly.
Because I will say this, when several people brought it to my attention, and I said, "Hey, it's nothing they can do about it. It's legal." And in a conversation that I had with another director, they was like, "Well, James, it is legal." He said, "But there's no outrage against Wolf." And I was like, "You're right." I said, "But 1 versus 10 is also a big difference." But you're right, because
the player's the player.
The players,
no matter the number of players, basically what we're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I like what Bankhead said. Bankhead flat out said they had them, and y'all did. Rare form, you had them. You know what I mean? The two teams that I saw, they competed well with them. They had every opportunity. It was both of them were great games, and it came down to the special team numbers. It looks like, you know what I mean? I think Rare form would get a pick six on the reason they scored on them. So it's not like you guys weren't able to compete with them. But
I think
that's what Caleb just said. Caleb said they were beat it, but they didn't care who they play with. I like that attitude, Caleb. Y'all had them. Y'all was in their hips. I watched that game.
I think what happened with Rare Form is, Trap just totally blew the game for them. he was so garbage. He couldn't cover nobody, and I just saw him post.
Yeah, I
I'm just
saw that.
joking, Trap. I'm just having friendly shots.
Trap said, "You remember them getting caught on the screen? You remember that, Trap?"
But what I will say is that, since Rare Form is up here talking, shout out to Rare Form and Outsiders and Georgia Elite and Georgia Smoke, because they were the only teams from Atlanta to make it to Sunday. So shout out to them. And Rare Form made it to the game before the championship. So
and they went undefeated most of the way.
Pool play.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna second guess anything they did, because they did a great job. I would have just liked to have not seen. I would have just liked to see them rethink that play that it seemed like I had deja vu from earlier that day. That 4th and 1. Going deep on the 4th and 1. I think I saw that earlier that day, didn't I?
Twice earlier that day.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying because of course, if the players catch the ball, it's a great play. But I think I would have focused on the first down first to give us 4 more plays to get that. But nonetheless, they did a tremendous job. Both of those teams, and D3 actually looked really good, aside from one team that was surprisingly shocking.
Zoo.
No, not even
that. Zoo shot the devil out of me.
That was a shock in itself. But I'm saying, aside from that,
okay,
every other team.
Zoo won like 3 games.
Every other team made it to Saturday in D3. And we started on Thursday.
Every other team but.
Every team but
LOZ.
That
was surprising.
And that was the biggest shock of them all.
That was surprising.
I expected to see LOZ, deep into Saturday, early Sunday.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But outside of that, everyone else made it to Saturday. And so I want to shout out everybody, because that's an accomplishment. Even I made it to Saturday.
How about that?
And I must say, I ain't gonna lie, I put it on Facebook. I gotta reiterate it again. It felt good to be out there playing at 51 years old.
How about that?
And having fun.
Yeah.
When, my intentions was just to go and be an extra person in case I was needed. And I was actually needed. I shocked myself. Having not played in so long, but I had a blast playing out there. It was so funny because I didn't really promote it or tell people. And when the directors found out that I was playing, the golf carts was lined up on this.
Yeah, they want to see it for themselves.
So they came, and shout out for all the support for every director came over there to see me play. Every single one. So that was I was happy about that. But D3, y'all looked good this year.
LOZ went 0 for 2.
They went 0-2, and I just don't understand.
That's surprising. I ain't gonna lie.
Listen, I'm not sure if I'm more shocked they went 0-2 or that Zoo went 3-2. Because let me tell you, that won't no surprise to nobody. And I just happened to catch the first game where they beat them 21-0. And I had the camera, and he was like, "Who not a quarterback? Who not a quarterback?" And I was low-key whispering, "You." But 21-0, what can you say? And then they lost to, one of the top teams, with the Friday. And then they won again, and it was like, what? And then, so shout out to them. You can't do nothing but be like major props to that unconventional offense and how far it took them.
But we said they could steal a game or two. We said on the podcast because of that.
I think we said a game.
A game.
I don't think we said two.
You're right. But we said they could steal a game because that offense is so unconventional. But who would have thought they would have won 3 games?
Yeah, right.
And then LOZ not win any. That's
none.
I don't think nobody would have predicted that.
LOZ was after looking at what they did in the season.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
Wow.
That was shocking. No doubt.
But all I'll say to that is, don't be one of the teams we were just talking about. because they really went with their nucleus, right?
Respect.
They didn't go and pick up 50, 11,000 people. Don't let that setback ruin what you put together.
Agreed.
Because you had a great season.
Agreed.
You had a lot to build on. You had a lot to work with. So
Agreed.
I say stay the course. Stay the course. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I got some of the scores from that D3 since we have it. You know, we were talking about it. You know,
That D3 bracket was loaded, man. When they looked at that schedule, they ended up having 76 games or something like that. I think it was like game 76 for the last. Boy, that thing that was loaded.
It was. It was. But for the loser, you know, it wasn't many. It was so to lose in D in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here's the thing. New Wave. So I was trying to explain to people the real difference between they think, oh, it's 39 teams, it's so many more games. It really wasn't. The first loser in D3 would have had to play 9 games to win the championship. The first loser in D2 would have had to play 8 games to win the championship. And in D1, they had to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to win the championship. So it wasn't, you know, this big, ginormous extra amount of numbers that people kept thinking in their head. It really wasn't. So, you know, people, you know, some people talking about, I'm going to go up so we ain't got to play as many games. No, you still going to have to.
9 and 7 doesn't sound like a big number, but 9 games versus 7 games is still, them 2 extra games is still pretty significant.
2 extra games, but that was only D1.
Yeah.
D2 had 8.
Just one, yeah.
You know, so it was only 1 extra game.
Yeah.
You know.
I get what you're saying, and you know, but every game.
And then to not lose, you still was going to play 6.
Right.
So you didn't save anything there.
Right.
So, you know, I'm always a proponent of if you can play in the next division, you can win and go up there. If you can't win where you at, don't let your ego take you somewhere.
Yeah.
But
I mean, let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
When we think of D3, and I put it with the air parentheses, when we think of D3, do you think you saw a lot of true D3 teams, or you saw a lot of teams that really were D2-ish that were playing D3?
I saw some D3 teams with D2 talent add-ons.
Okay.
I saw a lot of D3 teams. It wasn't a lot out there. It really.
Because when they first started D3, I don't really ask that question. And when they first started D3 was more of the corporate league. It was more people just go out there, just, you know what I mean? There was very little. There was very little. Now they didn't have D4 back then. When they first,
they had ABCD.
Yeah, and the C division was like, it was really watered down.
You
I mean, when you watch them guys play, you be like, ugh. You know what I mean? You know, and then it kind of moved up. I'm just asking.
Well, I think it's just
because it seemed like D3. I saw some really good D3 games, and it wasn't like you look at some of the games, you were like, man, these guys are
see good. But again,
good teams.
You saw
not just a good game, but good teams.
Good games and good teams playing against equal competition.
Okay,
I don't.
That's what I'm asking.
You put them in a D1 game, that stuff not going to look like that.
Okay.
And when you put them at the upper echelon of D2, it's not going to look like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it's going to look like that because the D3 teams are taking it more seriously than it used to be.
Okay.
Because it used to be called rec. I mean, you just come out there and get some work.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
But I think the teams that are there still are, for the most part, are taking it seriously. They want to win. They want to get better. They want to move up. So I don't think that they're D2. I just think that they've mastered what they have.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But in order to win, you know, because if the Phantoms are not there, I think we have a different champion.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
If they're not there, I think we have a different champion. And they actually were on another team, too. Not as deep. but some of them were on another team.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
know.
that team also made it into the
Well, here's the thing, though. They're from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
There were there any Chicago teams in D1? I don't think there was it?
D1.
I don't think they had any Chicago teams.
Let's see, Vegas, Atlanta, DC, Cleveland, DC. Vanilla Gorillas is from Chicago, yeah, aren't they? Aren't they from Chicago?
I don't think they're from Chicago, are they?
Or Ohio? They're either from Chicago or
Yeah.
Ohio.
I get my point being,
Yeah, but yeah, I get your point.
when the fans decide not to go as a team, the player's gonna sprinkle around somewhere, and typically gonna find teams that from your area makes sense to pay your league. So I don't know.
What about D2 though? New Wave. They're from Chicago. There was some Chicago teams.
Yeah, and outside of
D2.
right.
But either way, but no, I think that the D3 teams, minus the additions, are D3 teams
Okay.
that have just gotten better at their craft.
Okay, copy that.
But yeah, and so like I said, D3, you know, of course, Rare Form went the furthest, followed by Outsiders, then Georgia Elite, then you had DOA and Georgia Raiders and Zoo all go through to the same
Saturday,
level.
they went Saturday night though, right?
Saturday night, and then then of course the LOZ ended on Friday, and then as far as D2, Smoke went to Sunday. Smoke put up a good fight this season. They started out on the first game on Friday. They beat the Mustangs and advanced to face FI. They donuted FI and then went to the next round to face Neighborhood Bullies. They lost the Bullies and then came back the next day and faced what did they lose and face? They faced FI again. No, they didn't. When they lost that game, I don't see where they went down to. I don't know who they lost to the second time.
It was that first thing Sunday morning. They lost early Sunday morning.
Yeah. Bullies beat them Saturday night. And then, I ain't go down to the loser bracket, that's why. And then Sunday morning, they lost to FI. So they beat them the first time.
And then lost the second
6-0,
time.
And then lost to them the second time, 6-0. But they've on the road, And then, their first loss, of course, was against the eventual champions. So, that's not a bad, probably not what they wanted, but, they definitely represented. And then D1 just, had a rough outfit. Don't want to go through that. I don't like somebody to say, I'm taking shots. Let's just say all of D1 had a rough outing.
3 teams, 2 wins out of 3 teams is what you got.
2 and 6. 2 and 6 out of 3 teams. Surprisingly too, but
Yeah, our game was very disappointing. They were all winnable games.
What you guys,
we lost
that
6.
4th and 1 really shocked me because it was there. It was a couple of steps away.
That's the problem. The problem with that game was simply we had just made the same mistake the previous game, and luckily we got into overtime. We won in overtime. So to come back the next game and have the same scenario and do the exact same thing.
Oh, so you had a 4th and 1 in the previous?
Yes.
Wow.
And threw a bomb.
Wow.
So the exact same scenario. So you would think we're not gonna do the same thing. And we did the exact same thing. I watched that ball go in there like, what in the world?
Yeah, And even though it was one-on-one coverage, it
Doesn't
was
matter.
tightly contested
Doesn't matter.
coverage. So you know what I'm
Give
saying?
yourself a chance at 4 more downs.
That's how I felt, and kind of what I said to Red Form when they was prior to it and when they did it, I was like, man, we just held this. Why would you do that? And the sad part for me, they had 2 timeouts left.
Mm.
So I'm like, call that timeout and talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, D1 didn't do well.
But I see y'all both beat the Vegas team, right?
No, we lost to them 6-0 day one.
Oh no, y'all both beat STV. You and New Jack both beat STV.
Yeah.
So both our wins came off of STV. So what was different about Vegas?
There was nothing different about them. See, let me tell you about this team. That team, man. When you look at them play, when you look at their personnel, your mindset is we're so much more athletic than they are. You know what I mean? And then I start hearing people say, man, these guys suck. And I was like, nah, they don't suck. You know what I'm saying? They made the Final Four last year. And we lost to them 6-0 last year. You know what I mean? They don't suck. They just don't have a lot of the athletic dominance that we're used to seeing against, you know what I mean? They're just a very, very disciplined team. They make very few mistakes, and they capitalize on your mistakes. That's all they do. They don't make a bunch of mistakes. If you can bomb them, if you can beat them, you know what I mean? They're not going to outscore you. But if you leave that game close, that's how they got us, man. But nope.
They beat y'all, but then they actually put up, they gave Up and Smoke a fight.
They were up 2 touchdowns against Up and Smoke. Up and Smoke came back and beat them at the end.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, because they lost that 16-13.
And they jumped on them 13-zip. 13-zip. You know what I mean? They went right and scored on them. They couldn't score them. Man.
They went and they lost to the Cleveland Canes 12-6.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I was surprised to see that from them because again, you just don't.
They just don't look like it. That's what I'm saying. They're not a team that looks like way. But again, they made the Final Four last year. So they didn't suck. They just you gotta just beat them. You know what I mean? So.
And then Predators, they lost to the Reapers 22-14, and then lost again to somebody.
They went on too?
Oh no, the Reapers was their second loss. Their first loss was they lost to Built for Primetime 12-8. And I didn't see that coming because Built for Primetime played over in USA Flag first 8, and then came over and played 8. So I would have expected them to be exhausted in the Predators, but Billy wasn't there the first day. And when Billy ain't there, that's that changes the dynamic of their powerful offense. And so yeah. But yeah, so but I guess the bigger shock was that Atlanta didn't win a single 8 format. DMV won 5 of the 6 8 formats.
That's crazy.
Right? 5 of the 6, because over in the women, in D1 we had Bama and APOC and Rebels. And I know, unfortunately for Bama, they lost their quarterback on the 3rd play of the game.
Really?
Yeah, Ori hyperextended her leg, and it was injured, so she couldn't. She was in a brace and on crutches for the rest of the tournament. So that was a blow for them because then they didn't have another quarterback. APOC made it to APOC and Rebels ended up squaring off in the playoffs for the right to go to the championship, and Rebels were able to edge that out, but then they ran up against Lady Elite.
APOC.
No, Rebels.
Rebels lost to Lady Elite in the title game.
Yeah.
Okay.
20-0.
Wow. How many is that now for Lady Elite?
Is this 3 or 4?
Yeah.
And the APOC Rebels game, they won that one 3-0. That
Oh,
was
wow.
a close game. APOC came out the first round beating Carolina United 8-0, and then Rebels beat NT Wolfpack 6-0. But then in the second round, Rebels won 3-0. That was a defensive game. But then Lady Elite just, yeah. Duncan is a good coach. Great.
What y'all give Nationals this year on a scale of 1 to 10? Based on what would be the question, the criteria? So I'm gonna say this real quick, James, and I told this to Billy as well while we were talking at the field. And I saw a lot of complaints people were making about the refs. So I can only go by my experience. And I told Billy straight up, to me, this was the best 8-man refs I've seen in the last I don't know how many years. I ain't gonna front. And I'm not saying that we didn't get bad calls, because we did. And the crazy part is we almost, in overtime against STV, it was the Atlanta ref who said A-gap violation, and there was no A-gap violation. You know what I mean? But it was the Atlanta ref who threw the flag. Oh, girl. And I was like, and two Brute? You know what I mean? It's like, man. But and what really got me on that particular penalty was because the head ref was the NFL guy, and he had been calling out the numbers, the person who committed the penalty on every single penalty throughout the game. So on this particular penalty, I said, well, who was it? He looked at me, called refs together. As they broke up, he went right to the play. I said, hey, you ain't tell who it was. He looked back, coach. They don't know. They don't know? You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? But sometimes
Penalty on a person, but you don't know who.
But you don't know who the person was. You know what I mean? And again, it was our Atlanta ref who threw the flag. You know what I mean? And I say this all the time. I hate flags that come late. I hate flags that come late because it gives the appearance that you've been influenced by what you heard. You know what I mean? And now you're not sure what your eyes told you, so you're going by what you heard. Now you're going to throw the flag, and now you got to try to justify something that you're really not sure. And then if somebody argues it, you're going to stick with it for something that you really weren't sure about. You know what I mean? I hate those flags. And so I said this, so that happened. So, and I'm sure it happened to other people. But what I liked about the refs and why I gave Billy that compliment, and I say this to you, is that because every single ref over our games, and I did both 8-man and 35 and up, were at least had conversation. They at least explained stuff. They acknowledged mistakes, which is big. When you acknowledge, yeah, because we might have blew that one. You know what I mean? And you can have a conversation because these last few years, man, you had some refs out there. If you say anything to them, it's like, you know what I mean? I hate that BS. You know what I mean? So that's why I said I didn't have a single. Although again, there were bad calls that I didn't agree with, but it was not one single field that you couldn't have a conversation with them.
Now, I know
that meant a lot to me.
In our 3 games, we really didn't have many situations where we were arguing with the refs about plays. I think so I was looking for what people talked about, and we just didn't have many of those in our 3 games. Not to say what you said, agreeing with a judgment call is different. Than them messing up a call. Right. But I will say what you just pointed out, you got to get Ed credit for that, because I sat in on some of the ref meetings this year. He did a lot of Zooms, he did a lot of teaching, he did a lot of testing, and he had conversations to address some of the stuff what you said, because the worst thing you can, worst the feeling as a player you can have is to not be able to get clarification. Because if you could tell me I did something wrong and I can't get clarification on what I did wrong, how can I not do it wrong again?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't be so offended that I'm asking you.
No, correct.
It's like, don't come with this how dare you question me attitude.
Correct.
Tell me what's wrong so we can move past it and get past. So, Ed focused on that a lot this year. Not going to say that everybody felt like it was perfect, but I felt like, even on the inside, we did not hear as much as we normally have heard. But again, with refs, uh, refs are just becoming extremely hard to come by. The other people, they had 55 small ball fields, and they putting 3 refs on the field at a time. So that's 160 refs right there. 160, and then we have our fields, and then we getting 3 and 4 refs on the field. So it's just like it becomes hard to pull what everybody would consider quality.
Sure.
And then I know there were some people were saying, "Oh, we needed more Atlanta refs because DC was." That's not true. I saw the numbers. Atlanta refs were just as plentiful as DC refs. They did not have more refs than we had. The least represented when it came to the ref would have been the Chicago area, because I had to break down. I deal with them, the house, and all of that. But it just might can feel that way, from people. But that wasn't necessarily the case.
You're right, Trap. He set the tone, and you got to respect that. He set the tone before every game, and then bigger than that, how he set the tone. Not only did he talk to the coaches, he wanted everybody they're gonna have every captain to come to the coin toss. If you want the coin toss, he said you don't have no comments on anything on the field. I'm only gonna talk to people who come to this coin toss. But then after that, he went and talked to the teams directly. He did on every game. We had him like 3. He did on every game. Then he went to talk to the teams and say, "Hey, this is what it is." You gotta respect it. Like them or don't like them, you gotta respect somebody who sets a tone. I respect any ref who set the tone. You know what I mean? And you stay consistent with it. So yeah, some people complain about him, but he was cool with me. He was cool with me because he set the tone. He was consistent with it. You know what I mean?
You can expect to see him at Brawl for it all.
Oh, good.
You can expect to see him at Brawl.
No, I liked him.
So but overall, I know as a director, I think this was one of the better years we've had. Now, that weather is just I don't understand it. Like, people are like, "Oh, we need to move somewhere else."
It's Florida, man.
It's Florida, but because the thing is, I got there on Tuesday. It was still in the 80s on Tuesday when I got there.
Yeah.
And guess what? While we're freezing, it's in the 80s now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It dropped literally Thursday. Even Wednesday when I was out there with the vendors, it was not cold. It dropped Thursday, and then got warm again on Monday.
You gonna get those years in Florida. So we had years where it was just freezing cold the entire weekend. Yeah, years where it rained the entire weekend, and next year probably beautiful the entire.
We had years when it's been sunny.
It's just Florida, man.
Days we just out there in shorts, and t-shirts. So
you all right over there?
No, he just woke up from a nap.
Okay, I heard that. I'm just like, see all that white. We're like, that gone, man. Make she good. Well, we did have one national champion, as you can see. There gone Dwayne. Brought up his national championship ring for 35 and up. Him and JP.
Oh, that's what that ring come from, Dwayne?
Yeah, him, JP, and Chicken joined up with Mike and the team. They just created a team a week before nationals.
I didn't know. What was the name of your team? Delusional. And that was 8-man 35 and up?
8-man 35 and up. They just created a team a week before nationals.
Wow.
And didn't practice together. But Mike is such a freaking smart quarterback.
Mike who?
I don't know Mike's last name. He was a 9-man quarterback for main event.
Okay.
And they won 8-man nationals 2 seasons ago with Mike. You know what I mean? Mike is just smart, man. Mike literally dissects the field better than most quarterbacks you ever see in flag. I think they literally scored on every single drive on Saturday. The playoff ended on Saturday for the 35 and up, and they scored on every single drive. I mean, and they ain't had no bunch of superstars. They had a whole bunch of speed. They had none of that stuff. They just had guys just disciplined, man. And they lit everybody up. Yeah, so Dwayne and JP got the Manatee. Damn near 50 years in the game. Yeah, Trap. Boy, but he's smart as a whip. He's smart. He's smart as a whip, man. He dissected everybody. I mean, and Mike tells you, because he played with us one time, man. We could have stayed with the whole tournament. But he'll let you know, all I need is one stop. Give me one stop, we're going to win. They got a pick six in the championship game against ATL. Pick six, first play of the game. Mike said, game over. He said, I only need one stop. He said, hey, he told him game over.
Wow.
He said, they can't beat us now.
Wow.
That's how confident he is. He like, give me one stop, we win. They got the pick six, Mike said, oh, game over. That's how he play, man.
Well, congratulations to Dwayne for bringing in the championship. Also, I wanted to shout out to our, a couple of our 8 women D3 teams. We did not win a championship there, but Code Red went down. The play they finished 1-2, but in that one game they had a 13-0 shutout. You know, and it's just I like to acknowledge when I see improvement.
Sure, 100%.
Because to go down and pitch a 2-score shutout, for them that was and then shout out to the mouth of the South, T-Mac. T-Mac went undefeated in pool play.
Yeah,
they went 3-0.
Okay.
So
big boot. All
I
right.
really want to give him
Absolutely.
Shout out for that. They went into the playoffs as the number 3 overall seed because there were 3 teams that went 3-0. But that's a great acknowledgement for them.
100%.
Because that's not easy. Especially since he almost didn't have a center left 2 days.
I heard. That's
and,
crazy.
He was like scrambling to put something together. So to get down there and do that, shout out to T-Mac for that.
Okay.
And then we did bring back a national championship. The ladies of the Alpha Legends, which was a new team that just formed in late fall of last year. They went up there and won 5 women D1 non-contact. And they're led by Ori and Bree and a couple of other ladies, Mari. And, so shout out to them. I was hoping they would have been able to make it tonight, but they didn't. Who?
Yeah, I thought I saw KT them in a picture.
Yeah, 8 co-ed. Yeah, Dynasty won.
Dynasty won 8 co-ed. Yeah.
Yes, so that was 2. Okay, that's what it was. Because I thought I saw KT in the picture. But then when I went back and looked, I was like, well, New Jack didn't win anything. So he played with, okay, that's what it was. So, yeah, Dynasty won 8 co-ed. So we had 2 national championships. I think that's the lowest we've had in a long time. That's the lowest we had in a long time. And I believe, actually, if I'm not mistaken, Dynasty won in both tournaments as well.
Tampa too.
Really? Yeah. But shout out to them. I was hoping that at least they would have called in, but I know I got the message that some of them had to work. So so we didn't come back empty-handed. But that just gives us more hunger for next year. I know Storm was one of our anticipated favorites, but then of course, unfortunately, Kazi got hurt. And so that definitely hurt them, because they were the number 1 team in the country. So, but losing your quarterback, your starter quarterback, with as talented as what she is, that can really, set you back.
Oh, yeah.
But, but I think, for the most part, all of our teams went down there and did the best that they possibly could do. So shout out to everybody for even making it, because
I won't say did the best they possibly could do, but there was some that could have did better. But
I mean, they
fell short.
Everybody but the champion could have did something better, but you did the best that you could have done at that moment, and that just wasn't good enough across the board. But I would say that they did the best that they thought the best that they were able to do at the time, given the situations. Because at the end of the day, sometimes we forget that the other teams practice too. The other teams play the game to win too. And so while we might think that we're the best, they think that they're the best. And with DMV winning 5 of the 6 championships, I think for the next year, they're gonna be the best.
Mm.
But yeah, you didn't. I don't think I didn't see many of my Atlanta people at the kickoff party. I was disappointed. We gave away about $800 in cash and prizes.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about cash. The least that we gave out was $50. All the prizes were minimum of $50 cash, and we were giving out fresh, crisp $50 bills.
Wow.
5-star.
Yeah, we didn't get in. We didn't get in time.
$50 cash. The Mecca gave out $50. CWFL gave out $50. Wafa gave out $50. UFFL gave out $150. And then we had a lot of the vendors gave out merchandise. ASO gave out merchandise. Flagged up. And then our hoodie guy and Empire gave out merchandise. So it was a lot going on. And shout out to PJ the DJ for spinning it for 3 hours. So yeah, didn't give anybody from Atlanta. Nobody from Atlanta. They didn't even come, so I couldn't even pretend to have given our team it. You know what? I take that back. Pasha from AOA won a shirt from Empire, and Brandon Shedd, the quarterback for They Hate Us, won a official UFFL Empire sweatshirt. So we did have 2 people that won, but the rest of at the stage did.
Copy that.
Did you eat in the vendor village?
Yeah, I ate at Honey. Was it Honey Wings? Yeah. Yeah, they were giving out samples.
Yeah.
And when I hit a couple of those samples, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to go check these out." I had that Honey Heat wings, man. They were really, really good. Filling too. Them wings were huge, man. I only had 6, boy. I couldn't eat those. And then I sampled several different plates from different people. Somebody had some fish, was really good. Amos had some wings. And I usually don't like breaded wings like that, but whatever wings they had on there, they were good.
So I ate from everybody. The only person I didn't eat from was Gator, because when I went to get the crab cakes, he didn't have any more. Because I love crab cakes being from the
Yeah, I didn't know they had no crab cakes.
But Dexter had Dexter's French Quarters. I got the crab cake sandwich from him, and then I got the catfish nuggets. I got the mini donuts from Nana's. From Champs, I had the brisket. Oh, it was so good. From S&B, I had the seafood boil. Oh, my God. It had the crab legs, the shrimp, the sausage, the potatoes, the corn. And then they also had, I ate them a second time, I had the garlic shrimp. And then I had the wings from Honey's. I went down the bottom and I had stewed chicken from Zeta's. And then they gave me oxtails and rice. I don't eat oxtails. So I gave that to Jeff, and he ate that. But then the Funky Elephant. I'm not a burger guy. Burger's a burger to me. I go to McDonald's and get a burger. But he made this burger with his special burger sauce. Man, that burger was so good.
Really?
That was one of the best burgers. Because people had kept talking about his burgers. But I'm like, it's just a burger.
Right.
So when I went down there to get it, I was like, man, this burger is out of control. So for the most part, I think I got a lot of compliments from the peoples about the food choices from the vendors.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about the food as well.
I don't think we had any bad choices. So, and then I had the Finna Eats. That's our local vendor. I had the shrimp etouffee. That's one of my favorite dishes from them. So, I think people definitely had a chance to eat well this year.
Yeah, they had enough options. You didn't have to leave to eat. So, yeah, that was good.
So, anybody checked on Zanny? Because I got to shout out Zanny. Zanny came out there to support Rare Form. And he had on that short sleeve shirt and them slides, and, it was bright and sunny. And then when 12 o'clock hit and that temperature dropped like 22 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
the wind and the rain, and he stayed out there. And I'm looking at him like, Danny, you ain't got no coat. He was like, 72 when I came out here. And he was freezing, but he stayed out there and watched. So I hopefully he ain't sick nowhere.
I know that's right.
Shout out to him, But yeah, some good games this weekend,
So, Nationals is over.
It is over.
The free agency period has begun.
Listen, that transfer portal
It's gonna go crazy.
Them offline signings.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I'm like, whoa, he where? Y'all did what? And
I was shocked. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. There was some people playing with different teams this weekend. I was really, really surprised. I was really, really surprised.
You talking about at Nationals?
Yes.
Care to talk about it?
No, but I was just surprised.
To see them playing
with another team. Very, very surprised.
Well, and then it's gonna be some surprises.
I bet.
I bet. Some surprises, I've been getting my insight, and I'm just like, whoa, man. I think it's gonna be a lot of shock.
So you back at it now? 5-star is the 5-star season. You know what I mean? Is about to open back up
on March the 1st.
But prior to that, you got
on next Wednesday we have our mandatory captain's meeting with your $200 deposit. Please read the flyer because unfortunately, why don't people read? People calling me for stuff, and I'm like, read the flyer. It's on the flyer. Read the flyer. The flyer says you need to text the number that's on the flyer, not my personal cell phone number, but text the number that's on the flyer to confirm that you will be attending, and then you will get the information and location of the event, of the meeting, and then you'll go from there. But the meeting is next Wednesday at 7:30. No, it's always as an in-person meeting, and the deposit has to be there. And if you don't make it, we know what happens. We'll see you in the summer. Or you'll play in the 5-man league that starts on the 17th. Or the 7-man league that'll start later. But, 7:30 next Wednesday. At least one captain. 2 would be nice. We don't need 5 and 6 people from your team. It's not a party.
Swag said they can't read.
And if you come in for the food, you're going to be disappointed. I'm just letting you know that now. So, it ain't that type of party this season.
Try to tell y'all, man, y'all ain't take advantage of all that spoiling Jane was doing for y'all.
But I mean, some people have seen and questioned me about it, and I don't know if you've seen, but it's on my Facebook. We are looking to expand this year. So yes, the flyers that you've seen are true. We are looking to have 5-star New Orleans. We have some meetings going on next week, and we're looking to try to put an 8-man league out there.
I meant that. Yeah, I meant to have to ask you that too because I had a couple conversations about that this past weekend.
Yeah,
I told them to get with you.
We're trying to expand, not just the brand, but the 8-man market.
Sure.
Just bringing, there are people there. They just need to know about it.
Sure.
And someone has to, set the ball rolling. So we are looking to take that step there to get an 8-man league out there.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for those that are interested in the 5s league, again, it's 5-man, 5-woman, contact and non-contact. But again, it got to be teams registered. If the teams ain't registered, it ain't happening. But right now, all we've asked is that you go to the website and register. We didn't ask for payment. We just said go to the website and register. Don't call me and ask me questions that's listed on the flyer. And it also says on the flyer to go to the website for details because we can't put but so much on the flyer. But all the questions that I've been getting is listed on the website. So, again, we're looking to start that on March 17th. It's going to be on a Tuesday night. And, we'll take whichever formats have enough teams. Um, not running a three league team. That ain't going to happen.
Right. Right.
At least looking 4 would be the bare minimum, but we want to have at least 5.
Yeah.
But, there's been a lot of interest, but a lot of people aren't following directions. So, again, if that's what you want to do, just go to the website and sign up so that we'll know and we can move forward from there. But, I'm excited. Got a couple of new teams coming. On both sides of the ball, both men and women.
Okay.
New old faces in new places,
Mm-hmm.
new faces in old places. It's gonna be interesting. It's you know what you're right. I was shocked to see some people on some teams at nationals too. I was looking. I'm like, don't you play with? Well, what? And then there were some people that were planning to go places that didn't go and are so happy they didn't go. I've had those conversations too. Like that grass ain't always greener.
The grass is not always greener.
And even when it is greener, it's just spray paint. And
just
Nationals
facts.
rain washed it all away.
Just facts. You think problems are only in your house, boy. Them same problems in all these houses.
Everywhere.
But keep believing the dream if you want to. Anywho. All right. Well, you got anything else, James?
Well, in addition to league, Brawl for It All, please go ahead and get prepared for that. Go ahead and talk to some of your out-of-town friends. I've already, secured the usuals. AU has already committed as usual. Lady Elite has committed as usual. Pete told me Up in Smoke is coming down this time, so this will be their first time down. We're working to get the Bullies back down. Chicago, I talked to a couple of Chicago teams. They said it's too hot. They said they're going to push for Havoc. They did say they wanted to come, but they said it's too hot.
Tell the Alphas to come. Tell the Alphas to come. I'm pretty sure some folk would love some get back at the Alphas.
Well, I mean, now they wouldn't be playing in that division anymore. They're D2 now. We're starting early.
You think Vegas gonna happen this year?
I saw a flyer earlier this evening about Vegas. It's possible, but
Okay.
I also saw another entity, so it wasn't the same entity.
But they're not doing 8-man, I don't think.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, they're doing small ball.
So
I saw that too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, league meeting next Wednesday. Got to text the number to get the information. Season starts March what?
March 1st.
March 1st. So, guess all the free agent meetings, y'all got y'all a few weeks to get y'all this stuff together. All the free agent moves and all that good stuff, man. I guess we'll chime back in as needed.
Probably maybe next week after the meeting because
Yeah.
I like to get my stuff done quick, so it might be a stretch, but if I can get week 1 schedule out, in 24 hours, I'd do it because I think it's some matchups that I want to see to open up the season with, and but at least we can know what we're gonna do.
Okay.
All of that.
Okay. Good deal. But there it is, man. Congratulations to the couple champions we had. Shout out to all the teams that made strides this year. I'm sure y'all look at things y'all can work on to get better on during your season. Hopefully you keep your team together for the most part.
Vegas predictions will be back.
Vegas predictions back. That's what's up. There it is, man. ATL Flag Football Podcast. And we out. Peace.
Bad bitch in the bag of